And I welcome a focus on manufacturing with this motion. Belatedly, 7 years into this government, it is great to have them talking about it. COVID has certainly been a threat for some businesses and an opportunity for others. Macquarie is home to about 550 manufacturing businesses, everything from biscuits and lavash to caravans, windows and glass houses, and the major packaging company Westrock. We have a large number of small manufacturers with up to 5 employees. Family businesses often where it isn't unusual to find a husband and wife or a parent and child partnership in action, through to the medium-sized businesses that, despite growth, remain very firmly in a family's hands. And I want to talk about a couple of these businesses, the people who make stuff, the commitment they had to their staff when COVID hit and how much they needed support and how they have pivoted. Frank and Olga have Teardrop Camper Company, making fantastic camper vans with very comfortable inner spaces to sleep in, much more upmarket than a tent. And Frank took a punt in his South Windsor factory. He built 7 of them at the start of COVID. And that punt has paid off, and he's getting orders sight unseen from all over the country to support people in their desire to travel. So for him, it was a decision and a gamble to upgrade, and it's paid off. I'm also fortunate to have several gin distilleries in the electorate, and the Wild Hibiscus Flower Company converted its Jingle Bells gin distillery at the request of the government to produce medical-grade hand sanitiser. In normal times, their gin's infused with botanicals, but for COVID it was the sanitiser infused with lemon myrtle, one of the most pleasant sanitisers to use, and there's a steady supply in my office. So they really stepped up, and I hope the community supports them equally now in making sure you've got the wild hibiscus to go into your champagne. Another distillery, the already award-winning Karoo Gin Distillery in Grosse Vale, manufactured hand sanitiser and donated it to essential services, including police and food services, way back in March. They were established in 2017 by young husband and wife team Nick and Ali, who wanted to do something to help. They produced 100 litres, working with the tax office and an analytics company to get it quickly out the door. Now, speaking to Nick at the weekend at their cellar door, they're on their way to not only being a maker but a tourist destination. I also talked during COVID to Karen and Ben Ledson from Currajong Kitchen. Now, they're the makers of award-winning lavash, which are stocked in major supermarkets right around the country. And when I talk to them, it reminds me of how my dad used to talk about the staff who worked with us in our shop when I was growing up. Karen and Ben value their staff, and in the early days of COVID, their aim was just to keep their staff on, keep people employed. They were thrilled more recently to be awarded a Federal Manufacturing Modernisation Fund grant, and that's allowing them to upgrade their production so they can be more competitive overseas. Theirs is a growing manufacturing business, and it's already employing 2 generations. They started in 1993 and have been absolutely determined to keep food manufacturing in Australia. And COVID has certainly reinforced for all of us how important it is to have control of production on our own soil. And I think that's probably what disappoints me about what the government brought out in its budget this year. It was touted as a major boon for Australian manufacturing, but the 6 priority areas identified were the same ones identified by us in 2012 and adopted in 2013. And if the Abbott, Turnbull, Morrison governments had stuck to those key manufacturing areas rather than getting rid of the plan in 2014, manufacturing in this country would have already more thriving businesses employing thousands of people. We might even still have a car manufacturing industry if the coalition actually cared about keeping manufacturing jobs onshore. So I hear them talking a lot about manufacturing, and I welcome that. But even today, I'm not hearing specifics. What we learnt from the Industry Minister recently is that only $40 million of the $1.5 billion commitment the government's made will be spent this year, this financial year. That's less than 3% spent between now and June next year, at the height of a recession. So we see the same pattern in another announcement in the budget, the claim of $2 billion in new spending for the R&D tax incentive, when in actual fact the government's simply restoring the $1.8 billion it had planned to cut. So yet again, sadly, what we're seeing is words but not action, and manufacturing in this country deserves more.
Thank you.